my nerds, I have none other than Peter, the Ultra MAGA. I don't know if you consider yourself Ultra MAGA, but you're definitely MAGA.
Yeah, man.
Back in
How's
the
it going?
nerd zone.
How
I
long has it
see.
been? How long has
I
it
don't
been?
know, man. I feel like it was last time we talked might have been, was it before? It was right after the election. Yeah, because I
Oh,
remember in the back, in my background, I had like a moving truck
oh,
to show in front of the White House.
oh no.
And because you had made a bet with me for like, was it like $100 or a few hundred?
Did I ever pay you?
Yeah. No, you did. You
I
did.
did.
So
I
you're
did.
good. Your credit is good with me.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because I required it before the,
Yeah.
I required prepayment. And you
what
were, because
what
it was
odd,
it
what
was
odds did you
after
give me?
the it was after the election, and you were like, "Don't worry, Donald Trump will still be in the White House by the end of January." And I was like, "No, dude, it's over."
uh,
And then you were like, "Well, then let's bet." And I think you were of the belief that special forces would seize the ballot counting machines or martial law or something. I think you know there was like a crack in like a whatever, some movement was going to happen in
yeah, we all
January.
we all expected like this insurrection act, and we
Mm-hmm.
all expected troops to be sent to Washington.
Yes.
Was there any play of that at all or no?
Well, oddly enough, now a big talking point from the MAGA people is that, oh, Nancy Pelosi is responsible for Jan 6 because when Trump offered to send troops in before Jan 6, she refused it.
Huh.
And you wonder, like, why was Trump so keen on sending troops into the Capitol?
Uh-huh.
And he told her, like, oh, it's for your protection.
Huh. So are you saying that Trump maybe was going to send some hardline loyalists?
Who knows, man? Like,
Well,
which is there anything that he wouldn't do to stay in office? I mean, obviously, I know you're not like as nerdy into the day-to-day news, but you're aware that he's been indicted for trying to overturn the election and create like fake votes and things like that.
yeah, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
aware.
So like, if he's willing to do that and like shake down the governor and stuff like that, like who knows what he would have done? I
Well,
mean,
I don't
yeah,
know if he was shaking down the governor. Are you talking about like him talking to the Attorney General Raffensperger of Georgia and saying, "Hey, look, we just need to find 11,000 votes." I mean,
yeah.
that's not saying, "Hey, go manufacture 11,000 votes." It's just saying, "Hey, look, I know we have votes out there and they're being suppressed. Please go ahead and find them. Maybe 50,000, but all we need is 11,000, you know?"
Yeah. I mean, this is literally after the state had certified the results. You know what I mean? It's sort of like the business deal has been consummated, the contract has been signed, and then the CEO calls back and says, "Hey, this term, like, I just need you to change this term." It's like, dude, the thing's done.
Yeah.
Um, like, you can't. And then, because he does say to the governor or the secretary of state, he's like, "Look, this could look really bad for you. This could be very bad for you if you don't do this." And it's like, really? But, the good news is that all these times, remember, you were on the show, I don't know, like a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about this, and I was like, dude, they lost like 60 out of 61 cases. And you're like, yeah, but they didn't have standing, they didn't have the opportunity to bring all the evidence. Well, now you have all the time you want in court, for Trump to say, look, I was right to challenge the results, and here now is all the evidence. So Trump will get his day in court, and that evidence will be subjected to cross examination. Um, he also briefly announced a press conference where he was going to share what he called irrefutable evidence that would completely vindicate him. And it was supposed to be actually last week where he was going to share it all. But then
Yeah.
the like 2 days before he canceled it. I
So
don't
I
know why.
mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to speak to that, but I don't know if I mentioned this a few years ago when I was on my condo's board of directors, or in Singapore,
Mm,
and there was like two different camps. I wouldn't say like Democrat versus Republican, but there's two different camps. And then during the counting of the votes, the party in power, uh, which I will tell you a funny story how they got their party in power, is that they refused to let me be an observer in the counting room of
mm-hmm,
the ballots, because, and literally the guy said, "Oh, because he's on the opposite side." I'm like, "I'm
mm,
just observing." So I can see, I mean, I'm not saying Singapore cheating in a condo board is equivalent to cheating in a U.S. Federal election. And how the other side cheated is what they did was they had a good faith um, member that was allowed to join the board as a member of good faith. So like, oh, let's just allow one of the other opposing people to join, and then he had access as secretary, which wasn't like a chairman's position, access to the condo board's records, and he literally, and again, this is all hearsay, but stole all the owners' contact details, and then the opposing side was able to reach out to all the owners and get all their proxies. So reaching out to owners and getting proxies in it of itself isn't illegal, but obviously like using, you know, confidential data that way is not really, I would say, legal.
mm. There is a parallel there because I think in the Georgia indictment, the Trump legal team is being accused of stealing the voter data after the fact, and hacking into the software.
Okay, I'm not aware of that.
Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't really dispute that there could be cheating or malfeasance. Um, just, I mean, I've just seen firsthand how it happens.
I think that's true in any life situation. There could always be malfeasance. I think if you don't like the outcome and then you tell all of your followers that you have evidence there's malfeasance when you don't have evidence, and then you forge documents to create fake electoral votes and secretly sign them, and
So,
then like that's different than saying, oh, I'm not. I mean, because Hillary did that too. She was like, oh, I don't know, but that's not, she didn't do what Trump did after.
well, I think that saying something, even though it may not be exactly the truth, this is what Vivek says, is according to what of the Alvaro case, the Supreme Court said politicians are able to lie. So I'm not saying Trump lied, but if he's saying that he won the election and he truly believed it, I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything wrong with that.
And then Jack Smith, so that's what Jack Smith says, the special counsel,
What did he say?
that a politician is allowed to say whatever they believe. They could even say things they don't believe.
Yeah.
However, you cross a line when you start coordinating activity and creating fake documentation and trying to undermine government process. That's no longer free speech. It's like free speech is me saying to you, like, hey, Florida is really hot and humid. I can say that. Or I could say, Florida is really cold, whatever.
Yeah.
But if I say to you, hey, I'm going to sell you some boat insurance and it's going to have complete coverage for $1 a month, and don't worry, I've got you covered. That's not free speech. That's fraud now. If I'm actually selling you something or I'm taking action, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's another topic that you and I were just talking about, because I have a yacht, and this company is well known to actually not pay out claims. So they basically take all your insurance premium over the years, and
Mm.
then when there's claims, they don't pay. So I don't know. I mean, what do you think of Vivek? Vivek.
I think Vivek is super smart. He's a very fast talker. He's very confident. Um, I also think that he is pretty opportunistic in
Mm-hmm.
that in a different year, I don't know if he would be talking about like the war on woke and defending Trump so much. I think he's saying what he knows will resonate with people.
Yep.
What he really believes, I don't know. I mean, I know he was a libertarian in the past, which then, like, I don't know why now he keeps talking about religion and God and how it's important in government, because that's not like a typical libertarian position.
Mm-hmm.
So, but of all the Republican contenders, I actually just did a live stream yesterday on the state of the race. And he is the one to watch in that second tier, certainly more than
DeSantis.
DeSantis.
Yeah.
I would say Vivek, um, a Vivek Scott ticket would be devastating to Biden Harris.
How devastating would it be?
They'd win,
Oh,
probably.
really?
They'd win.
Uh-huh.
The
Well,
only person that can lose to Biden is Donald J. Trump.
but what about Trump with Vivek? I know that Vivek has been asked. I mean, I think even Neil Cavuto asked him just yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and then even yeah, everyone seems to ask him. Who was that guy that was on? He plays the. He has the club room. The club room. The older guy. The older comedian guy. He has a.
Comedian guy.
Yeah, he has a club room on YouTube. He does a lot of interviews. Older
What
dude.
is
Club room.
club room
Yeah.
show? Uh,
Yeah.
let's see on YouTube.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. There's a lot of things called. It's not Anya Schneider, right?
No, it's a guy. It's an older guy. He's 67.
I don't know.
And
Maybe
and
people will find it in the
anyhow,
chat.
people asked Vivek whether he would want to be a number two, and he says no. But I think that's just being, you know,
Yeah,
choosy with words. How would a Trump Vivek thing? If you're saying a Vivek Scott or Scott Vivek, what would that look like?
Vivek Scott.
What about a Trump Vivek?
Trump Vivek would be interesting, but not devastating to Biden
But
because
would
you have
win?
Trump.
Would win or no?
I think they'd still lose. I think there just are too many people who they don't love Trump, they don't hate Trump, but they are not going to vote for him again.
I see.
I mean, he's just tiring, you know?
Well,
He's just tiring.
I think the Democrats that didn't vote for Trump won't vote for Trump. It's just trying to get. It's all about the independents, you know.
Right. So who here believes that independents are going to be, who wouldn't vote for him in 2020, suddenly think he's amazing? Like, I don't know. I don't think they're going to change.
Right.
Maybe, like, if I wanted to be generous, I could say, well, they're pissed about inflation. They're not happy with the border. Um, they think Biden's old. But, Trump's no spring chicken either.
Well, what is your audience? Can I say heavily, probably 80-90% skews Democrat to Biden? Is it your own audience?
No, no. I was gonna say unfortunately. Fortunately, they're pretty diverse in that there's a lot of like RFK Jr. people
Mm-hmm.
who crossed over from the Yang Gang, my sense.
Yeah.
So they're kind of anti-duopoly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When did Yang run actually? What year? Was it just the most recent?
2020. Yeah.
So you don't hear much about UBI at all.
You did during the lockdown in form of direct cash assistance.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I mean, it's kind of sad. Like, that's one thing that, from a policy point of view, I really was kind of disappointed with Biden with the student loan forgiveness stuff. I was like, man, that could have been basic income. Why would you give all this money to a portion of the population that, you know, elected to go to college and take out loans and then hasn't paid them back. Like, what about the people who didn't go to college?
Yeah, exactly.
Or what about the people who did and paid back their loans?
Exactly.
So the beauty of UBI is the U. It's
Yeah, everyone.
universal.
Yeah, yeah,
So, but yeah, you don't hear about it too much, and especially now with inflation, I think people are really concerned. I think the nuance, of course, with UBI is that you fund it with like a value-added tax or some form of tax. So you're not printing money; you're taking money out and then redistributing it.
I thought the thing was to tax the big corporations that are benefiting from all the automation, like the Amazons.
Well, yeah, the value-added tax would, basically draw mostly from the entities that are producing the most value, which are usually the corporations.
Yeah. I kind of maybe have a slight change of heart on the whole border thing. I mean, I still believe in strong borders, but I kind of sort of understand why both parties have not been too strong borders over the past few decades. Now, I posed to you a theory is that obviously we've been having declining birth rates across the Western world.
Mm-hmm.
I think in
And in
the
Japan
and in
and
Japan
China.
and Japan and China. I mean, South Korea is like zero point 0.8 or some
Mm-hmm.
crazy low ass number.
Europe.
Europe and all
Yeah.
that. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the rate here in America is. It's slightly better than Western Europe, but obviously, not far behind. And that birth rate it's an average. This is what I heard. It's an average of all the women. So let's just say the birth rate is zero point 0.8 in Korea, but that doesn't mean every married couple, every couple only has zero point 0.8 children. It means that it says on average, the average female has zero point 0.8, but that means that some females have babies and some
Mm-hmm.
don't. And
Mm-hmm.
the general thing that's happening over the last few decades is just more and more women and men are becoming childless. And
Yeah.
I heard like basically like if a woman in the U.S. doesn't have a baby by age 30, she's probably unlikely to have one after that. And also, along with this demographics, like 18 to 35-year-old men, 30% of them are sexless, no sex. So that's gone up a lot. And I think that, with porn, with, you know, uh, OnlyFans, social media, stuff like that, people are just staying in their houses. I mean, not me, but, what are you
Definitely
laughing?
not you.
Yeah. But it's really put a lot of the Pareto rule. Basically, the guys that are going out and getting the girls, we're getting all the girls. And if you don't get girls, you're not getting any girls. Because before, when you're in a small little village, the average girl would end up being with the average guy. Now, the average girls or the hot girls, they have access to the whole global market. They're getting thirst traps. They're getting people messaging them from all over the world, and they just have inflated self-worth, entitlement. What is this graph I'm looking at?
Fertility rates across the U.S. over time,
Mm.
and basically births per 1,000 women used to be around 70, and now it's at 56.
Yeah.
So now I think that's more likely the result of people who do have kids electing to have fewer kids.
Oh, no, no. Actually,
Yeah.
studies show that's not the case.
Oh, let's
Yeah,
see.
studies show that's not the case. The average has been holding at 2.4 kids uh, per couple on average. So the people that have kids, they're still having around 2.4 kids. But it's just that more people are not having kids. But
Let's see.
you could dig that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been doing a
Average.
lot of research on it. I mean, I've been just trying to understand what the hell is going on. And
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, here is, we can share the screen. I just searched this on the web. So according to the Census Bureau, uh, families had an average of 1.94 of their own children, a drop from 2.33 in 1960. So it's down 20%, a little, what, maybe 15%.
But that number,
And the average number of children per family was 0.78, down from 1.33, almost half.
so is that pretty much agreeing with what I say? Because I definitely agree more people are going childless.
No, it's saying that it could be that more people are going childless, but people with children are having fewer children than 60 years ago, at least.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
I'm not sure. I mean, I've been hearing different stories about that because just look at our own family as an example. You have two kids, Joe has three. That's five kids divided by two. That's already 2.5. You know, you're right at that 2.4 average that I'm saying. I think it's more like there's just more and more people not having kids.
the number of families with children has remained constant, but the families with no children has been increasing from 37 million in 2000 to 50 million in 2022.
Yeah.
So I think both things can be true at the same time. Less families have kids, and families with kids are having fewer of them.
Yeah, I mean, as any country moves towards more urbanization, more to cities and smaller places, then it becomes more of a burden to have kids as opposed to if you have a lot of farmland and the kids are helping out with farms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that's just uh, part of the agricultural revolution, right? Like you don't need families don't really run farms anymore. Those are corporate entities now,
Yeah.
and they're highly mechanized, right? You don't have a bunch of kids like digging, turning the soil or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all done by tractors, and sometimes those tractors are now not even operated by humans.
Mm.
So economically, I think the model was you had lots of kids, they helped work on the family business, and they also helped take care of you when you got older. And
Yeah.
so having a lot of them made a lot of sense.
And people stayed together
Yeah.
in a nuclear extended family in the same small town, right?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
look at us. I'm in Florida. Before I was in Singapore. You're in California. Before you're in Zurich. Joe's in London. Everyone's all over the place.
Yeah.
You know.
And Arez, thank you for correcting me. It was the Industrial Revolution that
Yeah.
probably had the biggest impact, not the agricultural one. Um, and the other thing is that for people who are wealthy, and you see this in China now too.
Mm.
So it's not just like the U.S. People are deciding to invest more resources into the coaching and development of smaller numbers of children,
Mm.
private tutoring, summer enrichment,
Mm.
you know, traveling sports programs, whatever, test prep, all that stuff,
Yeah.
private education. So you can't afford five kids. Like, I do okay, and I feel like, man, those two kids cost me a ton of money, and the idea of having four or five of them is hard for me to kind of pencil out. If I wanted to give each of them the same number of opportunities
The same. Yeah. The same
yeah.
opportunities and resources. I mean, so back to the whole border thing. I kind of think that maybe the government on both sides has been silently allowing all these illegal immigrants to come in to basically keep up our population growth.
Why do they care about the population growth?
Well, if you have a declining birth rate and you're having a situation where, I mean, let's just call it, if you have more and more LGBTQ, which they're not capable of having kids, then your country is going to basically not replace itself. It's going to be population decimation. And instead of the pyramid where you have, a lot of young people on the down and then small people on the old, the pyramid is getting inverted because everyone's getting older
Mm-hmm.
and they're living longer. And then on the base of the pyramid, there's just less kids. So basically, the economy, cannot really find it hard to sustain that, because you don't have people in their 80s and 90s working. They're not part of the workforce.
Yeah, so I don't know if you remember this, but
But yeah,
when you in the past were on the show and we talked about the wall, and I said Econ 101 is if you want to control supply, the best way is to reduce demand.
yeah.
And I said, why isn't Trump going after the employers who knowingly are hiring undocumented workers to do this hard jobs, like usually agricultural jobs, meat processing jobs.
Well, can those jobs how fast are those jobs going to be taken over by AI and
I
automation?
I mean, there's gonna always be just hard, what do they call, dirty work, right? Where you got to get in there and
The robot
bend,
cannot do that.
not, yeah, over time it will, but not any time, not in the next 10 years. And so my point was that Trump was the biggest hypocrite, complaining about illegal immigration, but then not lifting a single finger to enforce employment law,
Mm.
right? Now, why did he do that? Because a lot of his donors were, I mean, he himself, like the Trump resorts, employed a lot of illegal immigrants. So, you know, I think consistency has never been his strong suit.
Yeah, but I'm saying I wasn't really about talking about Trump. I'm just saying like maybe the country just needs these illegals. I mean, look at South Florida. It's full of illegals. I don't think we would
And where would the Florida economy be
without them.
without low cost labor?
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why a lot of people have been asking for comprehensive immigration reform that basically acknowledges, look, the economy requires people to do jobs. Many of those jobs, Native Americans, native born American citizens are unwilling to do it. Um, as you know, I lived in Switzerland where they are hardcore on labor law. And that's why hamburgers cost like $30 over there.
Crazy, man.
Because how are you supposed to produce a hamburger for $2, $3
Where's
if
a hamburger $30? Not at McDonald's. You have McDonald's there in Switzerland, right? How much
yeah,
is
it'll be like $8 or $9 in McDonald's.
and how much is it in California? I don't eat at McDonald's,
It's
so I
like
don't know.
$3, $2, $3.
Okay.
So if you think about it, how is that possible? That a hamburger that involves a cow, growing the cow, feeding the cow, processing the cow, transporting the cow, cooking the meat, same thing with all the bread, the flour. How is it possible that it's only $1.99? That's not right. And the reason is like massive amount of basically subsidized labor, right?
At everything, at all stages of the production line, and
Oh, completely.
uh,
If you wanted to get someone to clean your house in Switzerland, you're paying $40, $50 an hour per person.
oh, it's 25
Yeah.
here. It's
Yeah.
25 here.
It's 25 here, and how many of those are doing it are fully documented?
Not many.
And how many American citizens would do that job for 25?
It's $50,000 a year, but the average
Yeah.
American income is 36,000. I don't know why they wouldn't.
But how many Americans would do it? Because I have a friend who tried to open a vineyard and put a wanted ad for people to help tend to the vines and whatever. Could not, and they were very big, like, oh, American jobs only, blah, blah, blah. Could not fill them.
Oh, so I met 2 weeks ago a young, beautiful American girl, I guess in her 20s, going to school at UCF, and she runs a house cleaning business where she's the primary worker, and she cleans houses. So, but yeah, I mean,
that's one example.
Few and far between. Yeah, she was.
I don't think that proves the rule.
Actually very motivated to do her work. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. but that's not what, if you go to a meat processing plant, like that is not a fun job.
Mm.
The only kinds of people who would be willing to do that job are people who are fleeing
Mm.
a really crappy situation. So I mean, for those who are watching this that might have MAGA friends or family, or might even be of the MAGA persuasion, like, when was the last time you heard Trump or anyone in the Republican Party talk about comprehensive immigration reform, which means, yes, secure the border, but also have a thoughtful, rational plan for allowing American companies and the American economy to have the labor it needs to grow?
That would be a good question for Vivek because he's always asked about the border, and Vivek says he wants to send the army there.
Yeah, that's fine. Ask Vivek who's going to do the jobs that these undocumented workers are doing today.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have
Yeah,
an answer for that. He's quite a smart guy.
yeah, he's a smart guy, man. I think, some people say he's a little bit like Buttigieg, a little bit too smart, a little too slick.
I think he's a lot smarter than Buttigieg. He's a lot more accomplished.
Really? He's
I
more
mean,
accomplished. I don't think he's smarter. How do you come to that
well,
conclusion?
didn't he go to 2 Ivy Leagues? Doesn't he have a law degree and a bio degree as well? I don't know.
Buttigieg is a Rhodes Scholar, bro.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He was also at McKinsey and a U.S. veteran.
Okay, well, I didn't know it worked for McKinsey.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's probably one of the smartest folks, top five. I mean, he's right up there with Obama. I don't know. What would you put? Maybe Eric Trump would be up there.
Yeah.
Eric and Hunter, the two of them. They could start a business together.
Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden. I mean, how come we never? I watch CNN. I go to CNN.com religiously. I mean,
I
I have
love
to
it.
minute.
Good for you.
But I never see the Hunter Biden laptop thing.
What is there to say, dude? The Trump Department of Justice investigated Biden for years. He was the one that appointed the special counsel. That's a Trump appointed special counsel.
Oh, that's a Trump appointed counsel. It's a Merrick Garland appointed special counsel.
No, he was upgraded to special counsel by Merrick Garland. He was
Yeah.
actually elevated. The Trump appointee was elevated.
Well, did you hear the rumors that apparently he
dude, I can't believe you're going to spread rumors on my channel.
He was buddy with Bo Biden.
Oh my God.
Is that true?
Hunter Biden was Bo Biden's brother.
No, the special counsel.
Oh God. I don't.
You heard about that? You didn't hear about that?
No, I did not hear about that.
Yeah, some Republicans are saying that they want to remove Weiss as special counsel and put another one because apparently
Oh my God.
Bo Biden and Weiss were buddies, and that's why the Hunter Biden's been
What
getting
does that even mean, buddies?
the soft treatment.
What does that even mean, they're buddies?
No, conflict of interest. I mean, obviously.
Oh, okay. So that's like Clarence Thomas being buddy with like the Koch brothers?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. So.
You don't know that Clarence Thomas, like, his whole like lifestyle is funded by Republican donors with business in front of the court? Like his RV, his mother's house, his grandkids' private schools.
Oh yeah, I don't know about that. I didn't read about that.
Oh, you didn't read about that on your Newsmax. How come that doesn't show up on Newsmax?
I don't know. I just read about like Hunter's prolific art career right now.
Oh my God, dude.
Where he's painting art and people are buying it anonymously.
Oh, goodness. Either way, it's kind of fun to kind of throw back accusations and innuendo like this. But at the end of the day, like, do you feel like, by the way, I haven't asked you the question. Are you supporting Donald Trump for president?
Yes.
For the nomination?
Yes.
He's your first choice?
I would like Vivek, but I don't think that Vivek has a chance. So what do you want me to do?
Okay. What if you had ranked choice voting?
Explain how that works.
Basically, you order the people that you want to be, in this case, nominee. Mm-hmm. And then if your first choice doesn't meet a certain threshold, your vote gets reallocated to the next person on the list. So there's no less of a risk of throwing away your vote.
Right. So you would want to do this for both the primaries and the general?
Oh
No, you
yeah,
can't.
I
You
mean
can't.
that's
How can you do that for the general though? Can't do that for
for
the
the
general.
general. Yeah, you have because you'd have more than two people
Oh,
running
you'd
for
have
president, right?
independent.
Yeah,
Independent.
libertarians, green, forward, whatever. So if you had to stack rank, and if the Republicans, which they don't have ranked choice voting, but if they did,
Does anyone have
uh,
ranked choice voting?
Alaska.
Uh,
That's why Sarah Palin. That part of the reason people say that's why she lost, and Murkowski is still there, right? Because without ranked choice voting, whoever wins the primary basically has a lock. So then it becomes okay, just be crazy enough to win your primary, and then you're guaranteed the seat. So what would your rank be?
uh, I would like to see a Trump Vivek ticket. That's what I would like to see.
So your number one would be Trump, though, even if you
I don't
could
know.
put Vivek number one.
Because I don't think Trump would take a number two.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind seeing Trump as a number two. That would also be interesting.
What about Vivek Scott?
I don't know enough about Scott, but apparently, like he's getting popular and all that, and he's like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, how can I don't see how that's possible. That's like a dream for you.
Vivek Scott?
How is that possible when Trump is the
Oh,
lead?
I can easily tell you how that's possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So Trump is 77 years old.
Yeah.
Things happen to people when they're at that age, especially if they have a lot going on in their life and they're like traveling all the time and eating cheeseburgers, So there's probably 5-10% chance there's a health issue that hits both either Trump and or Biden. And if both of them have to drop out either for health or scandal reasons, for Trump, I would say no chance he drops out for scandal. He's already clearly has plenty of scandals. That hasn't stopped him. But if both of them were gone, imagine this, Peter. Vivek, I think it's pronounced Vivek Scott versus Newsom Whitmer. Bam. Oh yeah, it's on.
Where's Whitmore? Where's Whitmore? She's Michigan or what?
The governor of Michigan.
Huh.
The one they tried to kidnap, the MAGA people.
Okay.
So, some people are disagreeing. Let's see. Think Beyond is saying Vivek Scott would not win. GOP shot themselves in the foot with abortion. None of them will win. Unless Trump. So, what's your take? Do you feel like the Republican kind of hardline views on abortion is going to turn off a lot of voters?
I don't, but maybe I don't know about polling. I mean, it wasn't the Republicans; it was the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but they were appointed by.
We're just saying pass it to the state, man. Let the states deal with it, man.
No, that's not what the Republicans are saying.
The Supreme Court said let the states deal with it.
No, the Republican Party, like Lindsey Graham, actually introduced a bill as a federal ban on abortions. And the evangelicals are not happy with just passing it down to the state. Because their argument is that if you really believe abortion is an abomination, and some girl in Florida or Texas can drive across the border and get an abortion, that's not accomplishing the anti-abortion mission, right? So I can understand. I don't agree with it, but I can understand why the evangelicals want a federal ban, because it's consistent. It's like, well, if you really believe that this is murder, why would you say well, let's let each state decide?
I don't think they're going to have a federal ban. I don't think that.
I agree with you. I don't think that will happen. because
Yeah.
it won't get the votes. The
Won't get the vote.
question is, will talking about it all the time within the Republican kind of activist base turn off the independent voters from
Well,
the
what's the
Republican
poll
Party?
numbers? What's the poll? You must have access to
Oh my
Vivek
God.
Scott versus Biden poll. What do you have for Vivek versus Newsom?
I don't have Vivek versus Newsom, but I do have betting odds on who's going to be president.
Yeah.
And I shared this yesterday, so sorry for the people who saw yesterday's stream. We're going to do a little repeat. But here, you see that in the beginning of the year, Ron DeSantis was, according to the bookies, the most likely person to become president. 34% chance, followed by Biden and Trump at a 15% chance.
Wow.
And Vivek doesn't even show up.
Yeah.
Then you go to now, Joe Biden 35, Donald Trump 27, and then Vivek Ramaswamy 8.4% chance, then Gavin Newsom, and then Ron DeSantis at 5. So the betting odds are that it's still going to be a Biden versus Trump battle. And I'm pretty sure Trump's going to lose. This will be like his 4th consecutive loss. Because he lost the popular vote in 2016. Then he lost.
No, you don't count that. He won the general election in 2016. So just leave it at that.
So he lost the Congress in 2018. He lost the presidency in 2020. Then he lost he should have won but didn't. Lost the Senate in 2022 when we had record inflation and right after the Afghanistan pullout, and still the Republicans couldn't take the Senate because of Trump. And then he'll lose in 2024. So that is 4 losses. It would have been 5. So my question, if you care about the Republican Party defeating the Democrats, like, why do you think the Republicans keep putting forth a strategy that loses?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
It's like blind loyalty.
Fear.
It's also pride. Because I think if the Trump supporters back away from Trump, they feel like their anti-Trump family and friends are going to be like, see, you idiots, I told you all along. And they don't want to hear that. So they're going to dig in. And they're going to lose in 24. And they're going to say it was stolen from them.
Do you think it'll be a very narrow loss, or do you think there's a chance? I mean, like, I think part of the reason why we lost last time was when Trump dissuaded a lot of the mail-in voting, and then maybe the older crowd didn't want to do the actual voting, So I don't know what the voter turnout, but then again, he had record voter turnout, so I don't know.
Right? I don't think that's why they lost. I think that's.
I mean, because we had record voting on the Republican side as well.
Yeah. No, he turned out a lot of Republicans, and he turned out a lot of Democrats. Donald Trump is the world's best Democratic voting turnout machine, right? Like, people will walk through coals to vote against that man. Now, to answer your question, do I think it will be close? I think you have now, I don't wish this, but as a political junkie, if you want to see a happy path for Trump, you basically need to see Biden implode. And the worst case scenario for the Democrats, and therefore best case for the Trumpers, is Biden gets the nomination, and then after the convention has a series of health issues or mental lapses that completely causes everybody to be like, oh my God, this is like playing into all the criticism. But he doesn't step down. Or if he steps down, the party's obligated to give it to Kamala, who's terrible candidate.
Oh, God.
And if there's anyone that might be able to get Republican voters out as much as Trump gets Democratic voters out, it's like Kamala and Hillary. Those two, right?
Yeah, why?
So
Why? I understand the Hillary, but why the Kamala?
why do Republicans hate Kamala?
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I'll tell you why many Democrats don't love her.
yeah. Tell me.
Is they don't have a sense that she's authentic.
Mm.
They feel like she may not have like a very principled view on things, and she just doesn't come across as someone that gives you warm and fuzzies. And I think on the Republican side, I think they would have many issues with Kamala that are beyond that are unique to the Republican kind of culture.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a good situation. But
Yeah.
how many states did we lose on the electoral college? That we would need to win this time in order
Oh
for
my
us.
God, dude. You guys got your 2020 election map.
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
So we lost Arizona. What the fuck? Hell.
Oh yeah, Fox News called that.
Crazy.
Let's see.
So we would want to win Arizona.
Which are not.
Why not?
I think generally there has been a move more towards the center than towards the right. But like, look at what Trump won. Florida. Okay, Florida I thought was a legitimate win, but like Texas, you're basically bringing this whole center area. Even Georgia, you lost, dude.
We need to win Georgia.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because, hold on. You needed to get to 270, so you needed to have 38 more electoral votes. So even if you picked up Georgia, that would have been only 16.
Okay.
So you need Georgia and
what else?
Maybe I don't think you're gonna get Virginia. You lost that by 10 points.
What can we get?
Maybe Pennsylvania. 20 and 16 would be 36, but you needed 38.
So what other state can we get?
You need Pennsylvania and Georgia and one more. Maybe Michigan or Wisconsin.
Not Nevada?
Yeah. I mean, if you got Pennsylvania and Georgia, you're only two, basically Pennsylvania, Georgia, and one other state.
What would be the easier state?
I mean, it looks like you 50 to 48.
I mean, what are the three easiest?
I mean, look, you barely lost Wisconsin.
So maybe we can get
20,000 votes.
So you would say that the Republicans should devote a lot of resources to Wisconsin?
I don't know. Let's see. Wisconsin 2022 election results. Let's see how Wisconsin did. Share. So a Republican won the Senate. Oh, that's good. Wow, but so close. 50 to 49. Crazy. And then in the House, Democrat won the governorship. 51-48. It's a close state. Yeah, so yeah, maybe. Democrat won Secretary of State. Democrat won Attorney General. It's not terrific, but the fact that you got a Senate, a Republican senator, is encouraging. So, I think your bigger issue is actually winning those big ones, Georgia and Pennsylvania. And I think the thing will be the abortion thing, I think, has activated a lot of Democratic voters. What do you think is going to activate the Republicans? Maybe immigration or... I don't think
the Republicans or the Democrats are not going to vote. Are you telling me that we're so passive? Like, what's the percentage of people not voting?
Oh my God, most people don't vote.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let's see. 2020 election turnout, right? In 2020, 67% It was a record turned out, but that means 33%, 1 out of 3 who are eligible to vote, did not. Right? And ultimately, like, the hardcore Republicans will do their thing, same with the Democrats. And as you said, the independents will decide this. Do you really think Trump is your best path to locking up independents?
If we had like Vivek as a, teammate, that could help with
It
the
could
young,
help.
with the young,
I mean,
with the young people, the minorities.
maybe. It certainly would do better than Pence. I don't know. Would the evangelicals come out the way they did? Pence help with evangelicals? Maybe the evangelicals have already come to terms with Trump's who he is, and as long as he gives them their Supreme Court justices, they don't mind that has a lifestyle the way that he does.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if I were gaming this out, I actually don't think Vivek helps you as much as Scott does.
So I think a Trump Scott ticket would be better
Yeah, I think so.
with the African American vote.
I think he could depress black turnout. He
Uh,
might pull over some. He definitely also helps with the evangelicals. Like, he's legit. Like, he's a real Christian. He's not like, the top of the ticket.
and
Right?
and he's from the South, so it could help with Georgia.
Yeah, it could. And also, he doesn't threaten Trump as much as Vivek.
Which way did Ohio go in the last election?
Let's see. Went red. Went Republican 53-45. And so did South Carolina, which is where Scott's from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe Scott would be a better choice, but I like the Vivek. He's very, very well spoken. I guess you're going to be watching the debate tomorrow.
I'll be watching the debate. And here's the thing about Vivek, why he may not be Trump's running mate, even though so many people like him and he's so bright.
Yeah.
He's too good. Right? If you're Trump, are you going to pick a running mate that makes you look slow, doesn't have a mastery of the facts, old? Vivek really makes Trump look old.
Well, he makes everyone look old. He's the youngest one there.
Imagine if Biden picked Buttigieg. It just wouldn't work. And Trump, if we could probably agree on anything, he's a proud man. He likes to look like the part, right? And he wants to be the smartest guy in the room, and and Vivek is he's a type A guy. He's not like some beta,
Yeah, I mean, he's really impressive. Even in his early 20s, already became a millionaire. What the freak, man? That's
he's super impressive. Yeah,
super impressive.
Smart dude, man. Clearly a smart dude. I could see why he was a really strong libertarian, and then he made the calculation that, like, you don't become big in this country by joining a third party, right? So he's infiltrating the Republicans. But I also have to admit, like, he's good, man. I mean, he can go into a CNN interview the same way Buttigieg goes into a Fox News interview, like, unafraid.
Oh yeah, this guy, he's like,
right?
He's ready,
yeah. Or like, did you see like Gavin Newsom on the Hannity show? Like, it was like embarrassing, right?
No, I didn't watch. I didn't see it.
Oh my God, he just like manhandled Hannity. And
I mean, Newsom was good.
Yeah, Newsom crushed Hannity.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Send me the link for that.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Send me the link on WhatsApp, for that. Yeah.
Newsom, Hannity.
I don't even know why I watch all this stuff, because it really doesn't matter who's in power. It's all the same bullshit,
Oh, well, I will tell you why it does matter.
Because basically the powers that be control it,
It does matter because, one, the president appoints Supreme Court justices.
That's true.
And, now those ultra-conservative justices are going after abortion, but who knows how far they will go. The second thing is the president does appoint cabinet secretaries who run the largest organization in America, which is the federal government.
Yeah,
And
but what Vivek is saying, those it's run by bureaucrats, and it's like the fourth estate. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah, and so even if that's the case, wouldn't I think in general we would all agree that you want strong, competent leadership. And in Trump's solution is to appoint people and then fire them after 6 months. And I think Vivek's is defunding the FBI, right?
yeah. No,
Like,
not
really?
defunding, just ceasing it. You know?
Okay, even worse. And also defunding the Department of Education, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I don't know why.
maybe environmental protection as well.
And IRS.
Yeah. So like what's left? Just Vivek playing basketball? Like, well, how does this work? Are we gonna like what happened to the greatest? You know, either way, like, so I think takeaways. I know we're over time, so let me try and wrap it up, Pete.
Yeah.
Number one is you are still supporting Trump, despite knowing that. Well, maybe to put it a different way. You really believe he has the best chance of becoming president among all the Republicans, or you wish Vivek would, but you're being pragmatic and you don't think Trump's going to be able to step aside?
Yeah, the second one, the latter.
So so in that case, you're like, hey, look, Trump's not going anywhere. Might as well support him. He's going to be the nominee. Then your second thing is, if he's going to be the nominee, let's turbocharge him with a running mate. You like Vivek. Maybe we disagree. Do you agree with me that Scott would be better for Trump than Vivek?
So I've been mass Googling on YouTube every Vivek interview. So like I watch all his freaking town hall speeches, and even though it's 80%, 90%, it's the same thing.
Same
so, but
thing.
Yeah. I have not ever seen Tim Scott speak, so I don't know what his stance is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tomorrow,
search him up.
Tomorrow will be interesting. So tomorrow, what time is the debate? What time is the debate tomorrow?
It's at I think it's at 8 p.m. Eastern. Let's see.
And how can I watch it? I can just watch it on YouTube on Fox, or who's the which
Fox
network?
News.
Okay, so can I just go to YouTube Fox News?
Yeah, Wednesday 9 Eastern.
Okay.
Let's see how to watch. How to watch.
Are you gonna watch that with Mom or what?
No. No. You know, it's so funny.
What's that?
When Trump was president, she would be like, "Oh, are you watching the State of the Union?" I'd be like, "Well, I don't really like him, but I will watch it." She's like, "Yeah, you should. Even though you don't like him, like that's the democratic process." And then ever since Biden was elected, I asked her, no. She's like, "Oh, they talked about it on the Fox 5 or some shit like that." I'm like, that's not the same as watching it. Okay, it will be streamed at foxnews.com.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Yeah. So check it out, and I'll be doing a post-debate summary. So, but you're still kind of pro-Trump. You're still but you've evolved a little bit on immigration. I think because remember before, I don't want to say I told you so, but you were on the show and I told you a lot of these immigrants are coming here for jobs, and you were like, no, they're just coming here to deal drugs.
No, I know
they're
coming
now
for
acknowledge
drugs,
that they are. Do you now acknowledge that many undocumented workers are actually doing shit that we don't want to do?
They're coming here because they can have a better life. They're also staying in hotels in New York City, which was better than wherever they're staying, Guatemala or Ecuador or whatever.
And do you agree that Trump could have done more to enforce employment law to cut off the demand?
Yeah, so but I have a whole look at it. I mean, I was taking there's an article out there, 40% of Brown is it Brown College or Brown University is LGBTQ. 40%. Does that strike you as a very large number?
That strikes me as a large number. I don't know if that's true.
Google it.
Where did you get this? Okay,
it's real.
All right,
So
let me
what
Google.
we're facing a LGBTQ tidal wave, and therefore we do need massive illegal immigration. Otherwise, we're going to have a decimation in our population.
Oh, this is on University World News. I'm not sure what that that's interesting though. Brown Daily Herald. Let's see. Spring 38% do not identify as straight. Oh my. That
Yes.
is very I kind of admire the fact that you're willing to adjust your views on immigration, but I think the whole
I'm just
scare over LGBTQ is not the reason.
I'm not
Like,
scared. I'm just saying that the demographics between the LGBT going crazy at 40%, and because there's a lot of plastics in the foods that we're eating,
oh
and so
boy.
the kids are being born with birth defects and leaning more towards trans, that type of thing, and the media pushing it. And therefore, with the declining birth rate, which I've already shown and proven to you, and fertility rate and all that, and
No,
just
and we also agreed that it's straight people are having fewer kids.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Straight
Yeah.
people having less few kids. So I'm all for illegal immigration now. I'm all
If
in.
you had to look at a proportion, I think the vast majority of the lowering number of the birth rate is because straight people are having fewer kids and more straight people are having no kids. I don't think there's this explosion of LGBTQ. In fact, there's a lot more LGBTQ families that are now adopting or having kids through surrogates and other means.
There definitely seems to be explosion in LGBTQ. We have this whole Pride Month, and everyone's wearing the rainbow and all that. Parades and all that. I'm just saying, hey, look,
Could it be that actually there has always been a significant number of LGBTQ people in society, but they were never allowed to come out, and
that could.
now they're just more visible. Like it's someone said to me years ago,
Mhm.
"Hey, why are there so many Asian people at Costco?" And I said, I think it's because where you congregate, it's mostly white people.
Mm.
And Costco is like the one kind of colorblind place you go. And you're not used to seeing Asian people. But in fact, there are lots of Asian people in this country.
Is your friend in San Francisco? Because when I went to when I visit you guys there, it's full of
No,
Asians.
he's on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But I
anyhow,
think so my point is like I don't think there's been a huge explosion of LGBTQ. I think it's more just acceptable to be who you are and to be open about it. And
yeah,
because of that, you feel like, oh my God. Because when you were growing up, how many out out in the open gay people were there in like school, right?
zero.
And biologically that's very unlikely that it's zero, right?
Mm.
Like, come on. So now you might just be seeing what has always been the case, but you feel like, oh, Disney's turning everybody LGBTQ. But that may not be the case.
Yeah, but my whole point, I just said I'm open to your illegal immigration.
No, I'm not for illegal immigration. I'm for actually like documented like temporary work passes for people who are willing to do jobs on a time limited basis that Americans are not willing to do in order to keep things affordable.
Okay. Let's talk again, and I'd like to see how much money I can get on the UBI. I might become a big
There
supporter
you
of the UBI.
go. There you go. I'm sure you wouldn't turn it down. Well, look, thanks for coming back on. I know I've been bugging you a lot. Everybody, if you all enjoyed this conversation, do me and Pete a solid and like and share this stream or this video on replay, because this guy was like, hey, man, I know you're going to come on there and you're going to try and debate me. But hopefully, Pete, you would agree, like, yeah, we disagree on things, but I hopefully you felt it was cordial and I wasn't like attacking you.
Yes, that was good. Yeah.
All right, my friend.
All right, buddy.
Well, enjoy the debate, and let's make America awesome.
Yes.
See
Cheers.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.